Are we live?
We're live.
We're live. Hello.
We're
Welcome everyone back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint, the show where we talk everything about West Ham. Now, it's going to be a short show tonight, seeing as what's happened over the last couple of days. Look, a couple of boys are out on their Christmas parties tonight, so we're down to the bare bones, as Harry Redknapp used to say. So we've drafted in a replacement. Dom, how are you tonight?
Just a replacement. Don't insult.
Wow.
There's three of us tonight, and it's like Baldies Unite.
A lot of people have been accusing you of stealing my haircut, Dom. I've noticed in the comments.
There's nothing to fucking steal, mate. Going back on the sides a bit.
You don't want a horseshoe, mate. You don't want to. But it's so you feel free, Dom. It makes you feel free.
I feel fucking cold.
You get used to it. Trust me. You get the baldy conditioning on the. Well, trust me.
Oh, well, I always hello to you as well, Dan. By the way, I always start the show with the same way. I'm going to ask you how you are, how your week's been. How's it been? Dan.
Oh, you're talking to me. Oh, we're talking to Dom. Yeah, been good. Apart from obviously shit football, but apart from that, can't complain. Keeping busy.
And Dom,
what about yourself?
I've had better weeks, if I'm honest. Bit of a shit day today. I'll be honest with you, I'm just very anxious about what lies ahead, to be honest with you. I don't want to talk about that much, to be honest.
Well, I must say this is going to be the last Friday night pint before Christmas, so I've drafted in a drink. It was my birthday the other day, by the way, so I drafted in the birthday cake Baileys.
Lovely.
And I did have a porn star martini mixer, but I don't know where it went. I bought the vodka in for that, but if I run out of that,
that's in the back of your car probably, along with everything else.
I've got pina colada Baileys, so there you go.
Do you know what, Nick? I think the Bermuda Triangle is probably relocated to your ass, isn't it? Like, 'cause everything goes missing.
Yeah, it does go missing in here. Yeah, it gets put away, and I never to be seen again.
Yeah, it's one of them. But
no,
I mean, there's not tons and tons of stories to talk about, but there's a big bloody. I know that was the funny thing. Dom's like, I don't want to talk about all that, but that's kind of the big story. Obviously, the game being cancelled, and potentially implications and possible benefits. What that has to West Ham, West Ham versus Norwich.
Well, first of all, I think after the loss the other night, I think that would have been the perfect game to come back and they are torn with injury. Torn.
Whoa.
What?
They're shit as well, though. Even with a full team, they're shit.
Well, but they're torn apart with injuries. They've got a bit more belief in them over the last few weeks since their new manager took over. But it would have been the perfect game. Obviously, it's been called off. Look, it all started with the Tottenham games, and it seems COVID has ripped through the whole of the Premier League now. I'm hearing rumours, and they're just rumours, and they're not confirmed or anything like that, that they're thinking about a 6-week circuit breaker, and that would be a free. This is the rumours, right? Yeah. That would be a 3-week break, and then a 3-week behind closed doors to make sure that the variant isn't spreading anymore. But it would have been perfect. But the form we are in at the moment, the amount of games we've played, the ravaged injured squad, and all of that sort of thing. Obviously, there's meant to be a Carabao Cup game on Thursday. Whether that's going to go ahead or not, who can guess? But yeah, it's a tough one really, because I think we could do with a rest. To be honest, I think we could do with a rest.
Yeah. That's to say, Liz. A lot of players are looking knackered, particularly Michail Antonio. He's looking tired. The injuries have racked up. We need certain players a little bit more time to come back. I mean, I know, obviously, look, we all don't want to break from football and that, but, when you got the likes of Zuma out and Johnson and flipping Creswell, and then, the fact that we've only got one striker who's knackered, we want to get to January and try and get some reinforcements in. That could do us the world of good. I mean, just this game being delayed. It could have been a good bounce back game, like you said, Nick. But at the same time, I think having that little bit of rest now could really do us some good. So there's definitely pros and cons, but you can look at the positive side of it.
Well, Dom's never going to look at the positive side of it, are you, Dom?
There's nothing positive to it if it all gets shut down. What's the way of a squad, though? I mean, what's the next thing going to be? You're going to postpone games because there's too many injuries.
Well, this is what I was saying the other day. I mean, I'm not a big advocate of because funny enough, I'm not a big advocate of shutting down Premier League games. You can't tell me that in that whole club that they haven't got 18 players to field, because as we speak now, I believe that there's or has been an under-18s game go ahead. Now, where do you go with this? It's COVID. Yeah, okay, it's COVID. I do understand, and the world's shit scared of COVID, as it seems. But what's the difference? If you've got 5-6 players out, they stay at home. We've been in situations where we had 3 or 4 people out, and our manager, and we didn't get the game called off. We just had to play it. It's a Diop and whatever. But where do you draw the line here? Because there are players that can be played. Well, what happens if you get 6 injuries? What you just start calling games off? I don't believe in it, to be quite honest with you.
Can I just say something? Right? Do you remember New Year's Day 2014? Yeah. We had an injury-ravaged squad, right? I remember we didn't even have any recognised defenders. Remember we signed Roger Johnson in that January transfer window because we were so desperate, right? I remember going to a game before and we had one fit centre-back because we had Collins, Reed, and Tompkins. And Tompkins was our only recognisable centre-back, and he went down with no one around him. Literally, it was like a plague. This was our lineup against Fulham on New Year's Day 2014. Jaskalainen, Demel, the back four, Demel, Alou Diarra, remember him, defensive midfielder, George McCartney, left back at centre back, Joey O'Brien, right back at left back, Collison, Noble, Nolan, Diarme, Matty Taylor, and Maiga. Yeah? We had to play a team like that because we were that ravaged with injuries.
Do you think like
what would you say to that? Like, I understand the schedules are busy, and I understand COVID's ripping through teams, but like, what happens if it weren't COVID? What if it was just injuries from playing? What, are you going to just cancel the season because there's so many players out injured if it weren't COVID?
The thing is, injuries can happen in football, but they're not contagious. And that's the thing. I think the thing is, and this is an argument more than anything. I think how they've dealt with it has been ridiculous, like case by case basis, because it's like, okay, this team's got 3 players out, but we're not going to cancel their game because it's 3. And this team's got 6, so we'll cancel theirs. It's an argument, if anything, 2, people don't like it, but 2 pause things and put things on hold, because unlike the injuries, this is something that all these teams are getting outside of the game. And like we said,
last season, about January time, there were lots of games getting called off because of COVID. There was an outbreak at Villa. There was an outbreak at Newcastle. I think there was an outbreak at Fulham. Fulham got a game called off, and then because the team they were meant to be playing had an outbreak, and they moved, and then they just thought, oh fuck it, we'll accommodate the Tottenham game instead. They had to play the game within 48 hours notice, but there was no talk of there was talk of postponing the season, but it wasn't. So why is it different this time?
They're obviously trying to postpone as few games as possible to appease the TV companies. That's the big thing, right? Is they want to, because that got them, I think, in a lot of shit last time, and that's what they was panicking about when they had to suspend the season, was the deal with the TV companies. So it seems like they're doing this case by case.
That season finished.
Yeah, and that's it, and that's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to go, right, maybe we can stop some games, and we can still have our TV games. And then we'll try and minimize it, and it's not working, is it? Because we're still seeing more cases come up in these different teams and more games getting called up.
How many deaths? Not just about cases. It's what irks me. And they'll panic about cases. You can have as many cases as you like, 100 odd deaths out of how many in this country. Vaccine's working, isn't it? What's the point if you've got a vaccine?
Well, I think it's more about the players, isn't it?
Not going behind closed doors and sitting indoors, watching it on a stream 30 seconds behind the buffers every fucking minute. Just fucking shit, mate. Bollocks to it all. Fucking bollocks to it all.
Yeah, it's shit. They've got to make a decision, though, innit? Either just get on with it and
This
play
game's going ahead
youngsters
tomorrow,
or...
so I think they're getting on with it for now. And I think our game against Spurs look like they will be fully recovered COVID-wise by then, and we've not got any cases.
I don't know, because that game, they were supposed to be back for that Leicester game, weren't they?
Yeah, but Leicester have cases now.
So Leicester have cases. So yeah, it's a tough one to say whether this is a problem.
Meeting on Monday in the with the Premier League, and they're going to decide it.
It's also, when you think about it, it's no good for fans. If you're
at the same time, the League Cup is different to the Premier League. That's run by the EFL. So if the Premier League turn around and say, "Oh, we're going to suspend the league," doesn't necessarily mean the cup games will not get cancelled. But then you got to think about the schedule as well. Like, how are you going to, if these games will have to be played, how are you going to reschedule them? Tottenham are in the most perilous situation because they've got now 3 games in hand. Because even before their outbreak, their game at Burnley got called off, and now they've had 2 cancelled because of COVID. They've got 3 games in hand, and if they get a reprise in Europe, where they're going to fit in their game?
I don't think they're going to get a reprise in Europe, if I'm honest.
Nah. So then they can have plenty of more time to replay their games. The only thing is, with us, it's 1 game so far, and there's plenty of weeks we could replay ours. What we don't want is FA Cup replays potentially. We could play it. We could play it the week commencing after the Leeds Cup game. Because I looked at something today, and there was like a few suggested weeks we could play it. They'll get done. They always fit them in.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, look how many games that they play in the Championship. You know, they're playing like a lot of the time Saturday, Tuesday. So for us, there's always
more teams in the Championship.
No, you have, but that goes to show that you can do that. You can say, right, okay, if we've got to play a fucking random Tuesday where there's no cup games, we'll fucking fit that in. It's annoying, isn't it? Like I just
can't delay them too long, because I said about, well, it'll be more feasible because there's no World Cup in the summer, but a couple of weeks after the season ends, you've got 3 Nations League fixtures for England and obviously other countries. So
selfishly, I'd like to see it suspended for a West Ham point of view of fucking injuries, and let's get some new players in. That would
our players are out injured for a while anyway. Zuma's got what, 3 months, 2 months,
6 weeks, wasn't it? 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah, I think it concerns me as well, and I don't think this has been mentioned either. Is that we're going into a semi-final now on the back of an Arsenal defeat. I do apologise, Dom, but for the chance to get to the semi-final is what I was supposed to say. Going into a game now to have a chance to get into a semi-final of a cup. Now, a couple of things that concern me here. One, you're going in on the back of a defeat now. Whereas, you would have fancied yourself to be going in on the back of a win at home to Norwich, which is never good. Although the rest could do as well. Yeah. And 2, what happens with Vladimir Coufal? Because he would have definitely missed the Norwich game. Now he's going to miss the Tottenham game. We're ravaged as it is. So the cases of COVID, them getting, did the league look at it and say, no, he would have been suspended for Norwich. So when you play Norwich further on down the line, he'll be suspended for that game and he can play the Carabao Cup game? Or do they turn around and say, no, he didn't play the game wasn't played, it was called off, so he can play the Tottenham game, he can't play the Tottenham game? Do they just turn around and say, we'll just put that in by the suspension? Well, what happens? Because I'll be more confident with Vladimir Coufal in, it's not our fault.
Yeah, that's bullshit. If you ask me,
they'll just roll it over to the next one. I think
just have it so when we do play that Norwich fixture, Vladimir Coufal suspended for that fixture. Just have it for that.
Somebody saying it's a different competition. I think that counts.
Yeah, it does.
I think it counts. I don't think
it
it's.
carries
It
over.
counts.
Yeah, it's
So-
not the league. It's not the league game. It's domestic cup as well.
I
So
think
he
it's
will.
different. I think it's different in the FA Cup.
This is the thing. I was very excited by the prospect of Ashby starting at right back against Norwich and seeing what he could do. But to throw him in at right back for a big quarter-final at Tottenham, he could rise to the occasion, but you want to play your experienced, proven right back. You want him available for that game. And
Plus Spurs will have all their players fit by then as well.
the thing is, though, will they be match fit? Because they haven't played any football in about 3 weeks, and a lot of them ain't even been able to train for a lot of it. I mean, they've probably been training recently, but they should. You wouldn't expect them. What's that?
We trained today, despite the game.
No, I mean, but they've had all them cases in it, so
I know.
they've.
That's what I mean. Positives, believe it or not.
Yeah, so I wouldn't expect them to be match sharp like at all. And we should be going there. You know, we've played all this game. We've got that muscle memory and all of that going on. We should be able to really impose ourselves from a fitness point of view. We should be out running them and everything, especially with this Norwich game out the way now, like not being postponed. That gives us from Wednesday to, is it Wednesday or Thursday, the Spurs game?
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. So it gives us 7 days then. 7 days, but we're not losing match fitness. There's a benefit. You can never take anything for granted, but and the thing is, we do need to bounce back, and we do need a win. That could be the game now where the players go.
Game against them, though, don't we?
Yeah, that's it. And I'm really hoping Creswell's back, because it's been very vague on how long he's out for. We haven't really had that information, have we? Like,
a player picks up a knock, and it's like, oh, back in 2 weeks, and they don't reappear until like fucking months down the line.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard anything about Creswell's length. There was a sort of rumor he'd be back for like in time for the Burnley game, and it didn't happen. And it's it's one of them ones. I just think we did need that rest. It does seem to be fatigue is getting the best of us. All that Thursday, Sunday teams have set.
Let me take some comments.
Yeah, go on. Thank you.
All right. Kai Hughes says Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. Even at the dark.
No one respects Tottenham, even the
No
dark
one respects
fans.
Tottenham. Smith looking for excuses. He knew we would beat them, says Steve Tiley. That's right. West Ham won the under-18 game. What game will Soufal miss? I'd rather he miss Norwich, as they're struggling, and I don't think he'll be missed. We just mentioned that. Nino 1983, I get it with the fans not being allowed, but the TV streaming services could cope with this, and every team should be able to put a starting 11 out. Nicky, are you drinking milk, mate? No, I'm drinking birthday cake Baileys. Late on the parade evening, lads, says Phil Brown. Cockney U5 says Leighton Orient had to give up their tie. No two young lads sitting in front of me. West Ham fans is all over Twitter. The club are looking for them. Monkey chants calling people racist slurs, terrible. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. I'm not going to comment too much on that, but I believe they've been caught. That's precisely the point. Dom, it moved from deaths to cases, I think, to freak shit people to fuck out. The players need protection. We have useless competition, e.g. Nations League. Football's a mess. West Ham would be lucky to
Nations League.
One
player in January. Dan is waffling.
Where?
Yeah, I don't get it either, Dan. Is it not? It's not a different competition, so don't count. It certainly does count. I haven't had any Jan, and I'm no more jabs. I think that's meant to say than anyone else. I've been isolating for nearly 2 years. If I got it the first tomorrow, I would not be getting the booster to April the 30th. We could do with a couple of extra training days to work on the attack. Absolutely. They should be in tomorrow, to be fair. The amount of fans and athletes dropping like flies with heart problems is strange.
Yeah, that is weird.
Maybe a long rest would help our key players and get a few players back. Dom, stop biting your nails. Looks like you had enough to eat, mate.
All right, fuck off then, bruv.
You tell him, Dom. Dan, you should change your name from Dan Lawless to Dan Fearless.
Whey.
And Tottenham get COVID everywhere they go. Tottenham get COVID everywhere they go. Yeah, so quite a few good points there. Now, I know, and I'm not going to name any players. I don't know players, to be quite honest with you, but I know that a lot of these athletes are anti-vax. They're anti-vax, and a lot of the young lads don't want to get vaccinated. Which is, you know, I done a video the other day. That's their right. That's their right to choose. But there has come out today that West Ham may not. They've got a policy in place about COVID vaccinations now. So it doesn't look like they're going to sign any more players that are anti-vax. I mean,
It just start like if all our targets are anti-vax. Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
imagine Lingard's anti-vax. You'd be like, fuck. Right.
well, that's the rumor. I'm just telling you the rumor.
Laruma.
It looks like COVID is going to dominate for the next few years to come.
No, fucking hell. Yeah, now that's a different kind of mayhem we don't want, innit? You know, with the anti-vax mayhem. Yeah, that's fucking mad. Like I said, it's affected everything, but not signing players now. And what about the players if we've got players that are already anti-vax? We're going to do fucking stick them on the transfer market. Shout out Jamie Haville, by the way, £5. Is that a sticker? For some reason, I think people send sticker, or is that a message that he's blank?
It's a super chat.
£5.
Super chat. Thank you very much, Jamie. Yeah, it's a weird one, but yeah. Do you know what? Looking at it at that spurt, I would have said like I was really considering thinking that we should drop Antonio, right? But West Ham at Spurs, New White Hart Lane. I'm never dropping Antonio for that game. Never. I do think that he needs a bit of a kick up the arse, and we need to try something different.
The slander he's getting is just fucking stupid. Like the amount of disrespect the geezer's getting. He's our all-time Premier League top goal scorer. He's the only West Ham striker in generations that scored double figures in back-to-back seasons. He works his fucking socks off. He's going through a bit of a bad patch. Of course he is. But the fucking stick he's getting is disgraceful. Here come the fucking Haller comparisons again. Oh, Haller's scored fucking Champions League goals like Antonio isn't a footballer. Antonio isn't a footballer, but he's our record fucking top scorer in the Premier League. And Oaktree was more effective than Haller up top. Why are we still talking about this guy? If we kept Haller, wouldn't be fucking Europa League. I'll tell you that now.
We still would have had Antonio, wouldn't we? We wouldn't get to get rid of Antonio. We've had an extra striker.
If we kept Haller, we would have got Lingard, would we? Because we only signed Lingard for the Haller funds because it freed up the wage bill.
Let me just read this comment out quickly. Kate Adams says, we have to be vaccinated, so why shouldn't they? We don't. You've got a choice. It makes it very difficult to become...
In terms of want to go places, like, you know, say, like, when we went Belgium, you had to be vaxxed to fucking enter the country. What if some of them players weren't vaxxed? You know, it's how you look at it. It's a context.
Yeah, I didn't have to be vaxxed because I only had the one jab going to Zagreb. I didn't need it to 2 jabs to go Zagreb. It's just you need the tests, and they get rigidly tested.
You do your passenger locator form, did you?
Don't remind me, fucking passenger. That's why I'm not traveling anymore. Fucking jab or no jab.
You know what? I have never had a worse journey home from anywhere my whole life than Zagreb.
Yeah, that was horrible. You've had some bad journeys.
I had some right travel curse problems this season. I'll talk about them later on if you want. But fuck me, Zagreb was... Oof. I've never been so stressed in my life.
Shout out Stephen Bunn for £10 super chat. Says Merry Christmas, boys. Merry Christmas to you too, Stephen.
Merry Christmas.
Really appreciate that, mate.
Merry Christmas to everyone on here. Cockney U5 says, so what? Antonio's a fucking ego. Cockney, you are so wrong. So wrong. If there's anyone, I can have a go at a lot of footballers, but I've met Mikel Antonio a few times, and there's one thing he hasn't got, and that is an ego. He's one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. He's an unbelievable guy. Really nice guy. Infectious, happy all the time, polite. He has not got an ego. No way has he got an ego. I'm not having
He wouldn't have an ego if he was doing well, that's for sure.
I'm not having that sort of slander on him. Fucking hell. Come on, man. You can, have a go at him.
He's done anything to show that he's got an ego. I don't think there's any evidence.
I'll be honest with you, that's a ridiculous comment. Ridiculous comment. Absolutely ridiculous. How have you come to that conclusion? Just tell me that.
I mean, we all have egos, really. If you're thinking we all have some sort. Everyone has an ego. It depends how big. Some are bigger than others. Like that's just how it is. But this is the thing, like with Antonio and what Don was saying. I think it's fair to criticize performances. I don't get people saying he's shit and get rid of all. I think people take it too far. But I think it's fair to look at a game, like say the Burnley game, and say Antonio played shit. His passing was shit. His movement was shit. Everything, he just had a shit game. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to look at a player and say, you know what, they've not been playing well. But I don't, and I've never been a person, whether it's any player that we've had to come and write them off and say, fuck them, they're useless, this, that, and the other. I'm just not that guy. I look at things on an individual basis. It's like Masuaku. Masuaku had been brilliant for us. It's a man of the match performances since he'd come back. Brilliant against Burnley. All of a sudden, he's put in a situation now.
He got torn in the arsehole by Saka the other night, though.
Yeah, but we all knew it was going to happen. I said it. I said, look, if he's going to be left back, I said, we know that defending is not his strong point. He's being put in a situation because of injuries where he's having to defend against a very, very good attacking player. That's not his fault. But all of a sudden, we sell him, fuck him off, he's useless, forgetting all the good performances he had. His strength is going forward. And I think that's just the way. I think it's recency bias, isn't it? It's fresh in your mind, and how the performance and that people take it to heart.
Masuaku when we first signed him, that game he had against West Brom when he handballed it and fucking gave away the fourth goal. I didn't want to see him play again for ages, and he didn't. But he's always been a bit of a liability, but he does things that sort of make you forget. Like, he's fucking good going forward.
Yeah, he just has no business being in a situation where he's a left back, especially a left back against the team that's going to put pressure on us at all. Maybe he could I think he could do it against Leicester. I would have no problems about that. But yeah, Jawa, €20. I think that is super chat. Merry Christmas to all at WHF TV. Merry Christmas to you too, Jawa. Top guy always in our chats. Yeah, but no, listen, form or no form, I'm having him against Tottenham all day long because he loves a goal against Tottenham, man. I think he'll step up. I think he'll raise his game, and I think this rest will help him. He's been traveling to fucking, Jamaica, South America, and all of this, and Europe.
That's the thing with Caribbean qualifiers. They got to play like South American teams as well. It's a bit far out the way when it's when you compare it to the European one.
Yeah, with Europa League.
I think they played Costa Rica. That's fucking like
Panama.
Thousands of miles away from Jamaica, ain't it?
Yeah, Panama, America. He's traveling over there to the Caribbean and the Americas and traveling around Europe and England. I think it's taking its toll on him. I don't think it's any surprise that when those games started to happen and to pick up, his form started to dip. So that it just seems what it is. And I think the geezer needs a rest.
It ain't his fault either. He's the only striker at the club.
No, this is the thing. We can never take him off. He's playing 90 minutes every week.
Earlier, right? The be-all and end-all of it is how many goals do you score? We haven't had a forward player. I'll say forward because there's people that still... There's a debate whether people still think he's a natural striker or not. There's some chances he's missed that a natural striker would score. I'll say that. But like, when was the last time we had a forward who scored double figures in the Premier League 2 seasons running? I don't remember anyone. I don't remember anyone. Arnautovic was our best stuff, in my opinion, but he didn't score double figures 2 seasons running.
Ashton?
No, injury, too injured. We signed Ashton halfway through the 05-06 season, and in that summer, he got injured. He didn't play the following season, and he was ravaged with injuries for his final 2, and he retired in December 2009 at 26.
I just find it frustrating when people tell. And don't get me wrong. Look, we've all been guilty of it at one point or the other. One player or the next of losing your shit over someone. Like, don't get me wrong. I went to the Arsenal game the other night. It was tough to watch Antonio. He's well off the pace. Well off.
It was like,
but he's been battered. And he's got a bad injury record as well. He's been battered and battered and battered all season. It's just been right. It's an old saying called flogging a dead horse, and that's what we're doing with him at the minute. He has to play every minute of every game. There's no competition for him. There's no respite for him. And that sometimes when you're not playing well, that affects a player as well, because you look around and there's no one to replace you, and you're thinking, God, I've got to be good, and it can start playing your mind. I just don't get the battering of it. Like, sometimes it's hard to listen to. It's hard. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Let me know if you're saying. Look, I've put on a question at the bottom of the screen. Just pop the comments in the comment section there before we take some more. What are you doing on Saturday now that the football is cancelled? So I'll ask you first, Don. What are you doing?
I'm going non-league, like I always do when I can't go. And there's West Ham on a Saturday. It's my plan B.
You look like Dr. Phil with that haircut.
And what do you look like then? You look like Dr. Eggman.
Doctor Who?
Oh.
And Dom? Dan, sorry?
Sudbury, I think I'll go to tomorrow.
Sudbury. Oh, that sounds...
Yeah.
Sounds
that's the same league as Aztec.
Yeah. We've got a Christmas party at the old Dan Damo J Studios where we've been doing the watch-alongs, but I'll probably go there a little bit earlier and sort things out. I was going to go there after the game. Well, if I would have been able to go to the game, like I said, I've only had one jab, but I was potentially going to have to do a watch-along there, then have the party, but we'll sort that out earlier. Get on it early. Sounds like a plan. What about you, Nick?
Probably doing my Christmas run now. When you got to do the old present drops and all of that sort of thing.
I ain't even bought any presents, let alone do the drops.
Tomorrow is a week to the big day. That's why there's not going to be no Friday Night Pint next week. So it's Christmas Eve next week. So I think I'm going to do drop, and then that means I was going to do it Christmas Eve. I've got a couple of things to do in the house here, but yeah, I think I'm going to do the drop early this year. Pick up and drop off. That gives me Christmas Eve to just relax, So yeah, let's have a look, see what everyone else is doing. Having a few beers, then a good old dance. Aaron's going to get a bag, and then he's heading to the Battle Cruiser. It's a bag of sand, £1,000. I'm guessing. Getting pissed watching rugby instead, I suppose. Dom looks like a mini me. Sit up, lazy, isn't he? When we have
all that space above his head, that horrible brick. Could have picked a better background than that.
He looks like. Do you remember that old drawing that you used to do with the geezer hanging over the wall with just the nose?
Yeah,
that's what he looks like.
It was like, remember Home Improvement with the neighbour?
Yeah.
You ever see that? Oh, jeez.
Cockney U5 is going to the protest tomorrow. You're very shouty, Cockney.
That's the anti-lockdown protest, ain't it?
He's using the all caps.
It's Antonio's positioning that is most frustrating. He keeps on drifting wide, leaving us no target in the middle. And Ben Rama needs to get to the gym. He gets pushed off the ball far too easily.
Can I just say, I don't think anyone said it on that Ben Rama thing. No, I think a lot of people have been harsh on Ben Rama when he lost the sport the way he was, because I think Rice has got to take some of the blame, because I think he plays a slightly heavy pass to Ben Rama where he's got two players closing in on him. As he takes the ball, Ben Rama's in a 2-on-1 situation, has done his best to try and recover the ball. So I think a lot of people have been harsh on Ben Rama for blaming for that.
He takes the man on, and he fucking loses the ball all the time lately.
But that's not what the situation was when they scored. You know, I think Rice has gone a little bit under the radar for that goal.
This moves me back into the subject as well, talking about Arsenal. Merry Xmas, guys. What do you think of that performance?
Cheers, Steve.
Of Anthony Taylor the other night. I think it's a disgrace. To be fair, I don't think they do themselves any favours, referees. Like, there has been, for the last week now, there has been, what's the word? Outrage, uproar about the performances of referees, all of the soft penalties given last week and all of that sort of thing. Now, I'm sure, I don't know whether they checked it. I'm sure they did. But oh, hello.
Hi, Mike.
Where'd you come from?
Hello.
Right, let me just drop you out 1 minute, and then I'm going to bring you in. All right.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah. So the penalty was given. Now, it was nowhere near a penalty. Nowhere near. In my opinion, he got the ball. It goes over the top of the ball. Yeah, but it was one of them ones, a bit like Cresswell's. He bounced off the top of the ball. But he clearly got the ball. Like, you know, and people saying, "Oh yeah, but he's got the man as well." If you get the ball, you get the man. Simple as that. He's going to be knocked over. So it's a blatantly not a penalty, let alone a booking. Let alone a booking. Especially when it's a second, and even when I've looked back now, the first one wasn't even a booking.
First one was it was a dive. It was a dive. He doesn't even
shocking. It was shocking. It was shocking refereeing. Now, after all the criticism that they've got over the last week, over all the calls that they've got that this league's corrupt and all that, I think it proves it. I think that sort of that just goes along the way to prove that, you know. Obviously, I had Robbie on the channel last week. You can go and check that video out. But he says there is a top six bias. There is, because, you know, these things are going to be, you know, replayed over and over and over again. And they're always going to go in favour because of the stance of the league, because of the stance of the TV and all of that sort of thing. That you know, you turn on a Monday night game and you're watching Burnley versus Brighton. And they talk about Manchester United for an hour. Then they get rudely interrupted by a game, and then they talk about Liverpool for the next hour. There's very little shown or dissected or anything like that about the games, you know, that are outside the top six. But they keep on going over and over and over again. It's not just Sky; it's everybody, you know.
I should have let them go. I should have let them go.
No,
you know. But I think this sort of thing confirms it. And even if you think that's a penalty, at least go and look at the monitor to get a second opinion.
Yeah.
Like, at least, you know what I mean? Like, to give yourself a real chance and a real fighting chance of not getting it wrong. I'm starting to get, like, VAR, it is what it is at the end of the day. It's not VAR, it's the people that are using it. That goal that got ruled out last week with the Antonio shin, you know, a couple of weeks ago, sorry, you know, you see something very similar go for Manchester United the other day. It's all bollocks.
Yeah,
all of it is bollocks, and it's.
Thing is,
should we let Mike in, because I feel bad seeing his little face down there at the bottom.
He's eating something. I can see him.
Oh, he's eating. All right, fair enough. I just feel he's out of the cold, looking through.
It ain't just our games, right? You look at other games that could potentially impact ours, and they try and fucking rig it. Like, there's so many times it happened last season. You know, there's so many games where, you know, like there's a chance for one of the big six to break back into the top four, replacing a non-big six team, and they replace it. You know, like it's just so obvious, and people don't see it. People just want to fucking deny it. It's clear as day now. It's clear as day. Especially after the Super League, and they didn't fucking punish them. Like, imagine like if the 14 teams had had enough of the fucking league and they all tried breaking away and forming their own league, they'd be fucking relegated to the fucking National League.
Yeah,
All bollocks. Fuck them all.
what a way
Yeah,
to
I
end
agree.
that.
I think it's piss poor.
But
Virgil van Dawson, bloody hell, with right said Fred made a comeback.
I tell you what, if me and Nicky had a pound for how many times I've heard that right said Fred comment in the last week, we'd be rich.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
We'd get a studio easily like that.
I was gonna say something, but I won't offend you, mate. It's quite crude, but lots of ex-refs said that he should have been sent to the monitor to review his decision. He can make that call.
And he was the most bent in the last fucking years, along with Howard Webb. The only one who don't fucking agree is Peter Walton. He just goes with the flow. Pointless having him on. He just agrees with everything. I don't think I remember Peter Walton ever fucking disagreeing with an on-field decision on BT Sport.
I tell you what, on the Arsenal game, I want to say one thing, because I've been seeing Nicky get a lot of stick from these Arsenal fans over the combined 11 that he done with Robbie. Right, they're all sitting there because they won the game, going, look, see what mug, this, that, and the other.
Shameless.
Dom, it cuts out if you talk over him, so just let him finish his point before you...
He's right. No, but I'll just say this: one game doesn't change anything. We beat Liverpool and Chelsea. That doesn't suddenly mean that all of our players are better than their players, right? We've performed on the day. They didn't perform up to the standard on the day. Just because that you've beat us, don't mean Partey suddenly gets into our midfield. Doesn't suddenly mean Ramsey's better than Fabianski. Doesn't suddenly mean Lacazette's better than Antonio. So I don't know where they're coming from with this. I mean, I've had so many tweets from Arsenal fans. It's been ridiculous, but yeah, shameless, like Dom said.
They're just idiots. The Arsenal are the most shameless club in the country. Most shameless fans. They hound out their greatest player. It's Arteta in, trust the process, fuck the process, win 1 week, trust the process, lose, fuck the process, coat this player off, coat that player off. The players are just as bad, you know, like all their players, all their captains keep getting stripped to the armband. They have one good game in 5, and they're fucking like celebrating, like doing sunbathing celebrations, beating West Ham, who they used to be fucking streets head of. And you've got 2 idiots run on the pitch at full time, fucking like they just won the fucking league. Embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
Fucking attitudes out of either of them.
But that Mike's here. I've got to shoot off. I'm gonna tag Mike in. So that's a good time there, Mike. So
we're not stand for it. We're going to outdo Ask Us Anything. We're going to talk about a couple of more things, and we're going to shoot ourselves.
Mike's opinion, but Merry Christmas, everyone. Like I said, I'll be back, more content, maybe do a watch along next week, something like that. But have a good night, boys. God bless. It's been lovely to spend time with you, and good to see you, Mike.
Hard.
Yeah, you too, Dan. Happy Christmas.
See you later. We got a bit of hair coming now to offset the baldness, so it's equaled out a bit. I've got to leave now, otherwise it's just to balance.
Well, wait a minute, Danny, baby.
Here we go.
Say something before we go.
All right.
Wait there.
Where are you, Mike? You're in your car?
Improvise.
I'm in St. John's Wood.
Dad.
All right, go on. What does that say?
Baldies Unite.
Oh, Baldies Unite. Come on, the Bald FC. See you later, guys.
See you later, Dan. Have a good one.
Mike, what are you doing in St. John's Wood?
I had a job. I had a job from Romford to Heathrow. Too good to turn down. And then I had a job from Heathrow to what's it called? To St. John's Wood.
Okay. All right. We were just talking about the Arsenal game, Mike, and the decisions. And do you believe there's a top 6 bias?
Well, what I wanted to say, sorry to interrupt you earlier. What I wanted to say was I thought VAR was meant to be used for clear and obvious errors.
That was a clear and obvious error, surely.
That's what I mean. That's my point. So it wasn't used, was it? So why weren't it used? It's like might as well not bother having VAR if you're not going to use it the way it should be used.
Well, but the thing is, when you look at the Liverpool game, for instance, there was a very similar challenge from Alexander-Arnold. Very similar.
I know which one you're going on about. I haven't actually seen it myself. I know which one which one you mean. Yeah, and Newcastle thought they should have had a penalty. That would have brought it to 2-2, wouldn't it, or something like that? I think.
Yeah, I would. But Dom, go on. What was you going to say, mate?
It was the same, wasn't it? But because it's Liverpool, they get away with it. So I was just
big club bias.
We're going to go ask us anything. Look, we've got 2 guests in here. I'm sure you all know Mike. Merry Christmas to you, Mike. Let's go ask us anything. Dom, come up with a question to start us off.
So, what's your local non-league team?
Oh, Mike, what's your local non-league team?
My local non-league team, it's got to be Romford.
Yeah, it's got to be
Romford. What's that?
They play over at Barking.
Do they?
Yeah, I watched them a few weeks ago. They got beat 7-0. They were shocking.
Was that against Brentwood by any chance?
Nah, Haybridge Swifts.
Oh, Haybridge Swifts. Okay. Yeah, I'd say my second local team, apart from Romford, would probably be Dagenham and Redbridge, I suppose.
Yeah.
What's yours, Dom? Southend.
It is, yeah. Technically non-league, yeah. So yeah, I guess Southend Manor.
What's mine? I don't even know. Hashtag.
Yeah,
Billericay Town. No, Billericay Town, wouldn't it be?
No. That's not as close as hashtag.
Or Wickford Town, surely.
Wickford Town. I don't think there is a Wickford Town.
I think there is. I believe there is. I could be wrong. I mean, apologies if I'm wrong. No. I made that one up then.
I apologise, Mike.
I think mine's hashtag.
Apologise then, Mike.
Do what?
Apologise then.
Sorry.
Hammer says Dover, Southend United, Ilford FC, Bognor Regis, says Alan Phillips. All the
Ilford FC.
Dagenham and Redbridge, says Mark Alexander. Mike, where is your favourite location, either football-wise or driving-wise? What the fuck sort of question's that?
Service stations.
No.
Toilets.
My favourite location. Oh, it's a tough one, really. Let me think about it, and I'll come back to it.
Mine is Mexico. Fuck football. If I could be at Mexico, I'd be in Mexico.
He said either football-wise or driving-wise. Well, for you, yeah.
For Mexico, technically. So.
Yeah. Football-wise, so I quite like. I don't know why. I've got a bit of a like. If I was going to support a second team, and I know obviously we just played them, but it'd be Arsenal. Would. So I got a little bit of a soft spot for Arsenal. But yeah, I mean, I like it as a ground. It's a nice stadium. Driving wise, wow, probably have to be when I was coming back from Scotland. I stopped at a place called Cove Bay, I think it was.
Was it a service station?
No, it was like on the sea, and it was like the views were absolutely breathtaking. Like if guys who are watching don't know where it is, Google it and you'll see like the views are absolutely out of this world. Yeah, that's probably my favorite location. Go on.
I don't care what the location is, as long as I'm with people that I love and they're close to me. That's it.
That's fair enough.
Well said, mate. Well said. And what are you going to do this Christmas?
Who, me?
Let's go, Mike. Because did I not ask you?
No.
Oh, what are you doing this Christmas then?
I'm coming to yours, you know.
Yeah, come round. Yeah, I won't be here, but you can come round certainly.
Oh, that's sweet. I'll have your turkey.
Yeah, you can. You're quite welcome to it.
And your Brussels sprouts.
Mike, what are you doing?
What am I doing? Well, obviously, it's going to be a bit of a different Christmas for me. I may work a little bit in the morning, and I'm probably going to go and visit my dad in the afternoon at some point. Probably have Christmas dinner with my mum and my brother, and just see what the rest of the day brings. Really, I haven't really got any specific plans, to be honest.
Christmas Day is a day for just lounging around and not feeling disgusting.
And eating loads of food and like getting, well, if you can, get drunk and eat, drink and be merry, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
Samurai asked a question. Who would you guys share your last Rolo with?
I'll share it with you, Nick, after I've licked the top.
What?
Share it with who?
I'll share it with you, Nicky, after I've licked the top of it.
Oh,
keep it. Thank you. Mike?
Who did I share my last Rolo with? This won't go down. So it ain't going to go down well, but it's I'd share it with, for as good as he was for us, Pyatt.
What?
I'd share it with Dimitri Pyatt. I think the guy's an absolute genius.
What the fuck?
Guy's a genius.
That's just come out of left field. I never expected to say, of all the people in the world that you could share your last Rolo with, you've picked Dimitri Pyatt.
Okay, all right. I'll go one better then. I would share it with my dad if he was still here. How's that?
That's a good one. I would share it with my future wife.
Yeah.
Although she probably wouldn't want it, to be quite honest with you.
Or I wouldn't even share my last Rolo, to be fair, because I'd just be too greedy and be eating myself. So.
Is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie? I don't think I've ever seen Lethal Weapon. So I would say
Isn't Spider-Man?
I went to see it yesterday.
Was it good?
No.
It wasn't.
No.
I'm the only person who's played it down. Everyone else I've seen go and see it, they're like, "Oh, bring tissues. It's sad and all that." Like to be fair, I've not seen the only Spider-Man films I've seen were the first three from. I think who made the first three with Tobey Maguire?
Tobey Maguire.
Pass.
What?
What do you mean? Who made the first three?
Well, there's a cut. They changed it because you had Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Octopus, and then the third one with Sandman and the Venom, and then it completely moved over to like the Amazing Spider-Man, and then more. Then you got this like Long Way From Home, Far From Home, No Way Home, and all that. I've not seen any of them. They're the only three Spider-Man films I've seen, the original ones.
Well, the original three were the three films, right?
They were the bollocks, them ones.
No, I beg to differ. The newer ones are the better ones, I believe. So they're Sam Raimi films, very, very camp, very different comic booky. And the Amazing Spider-Man, they rebooted it and they made the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, and they was terrible. They was awful. Although I thought he was a decent Spider-Man, and I like Spider-Man. The new ones, I love them. I love the whole, Marvel universe. Although I haven't seen a lot of the films, I really like the ones I've seen.
There's one on BBC One at the moment, actually.
Yeah,
that.
But it's like they're really, really good films. They're really good film, well thought out. Everything ties in together. I really like it. But there's 20 odd films plus so many series and all that. And I really like Tom Holland. I think he's brilliant.
Apart from the fact he's bought Spurs.
This one, and I took my boy to see it, and I wanted to see it because it just got too much for me. Just got too much. It was too much going on all at the same time. I think they, if I'm honest, they ruined a few of the like characters. I don't want to spoil it but what they did with them, they ruined, I believe, a lot of the characters. They downplayed a lot of people. They upplayed a few people, and then I'm sure the whole world knows this by then, but the other two Spider-Men come into the film, yeah. So Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come into this film, yeah. And there's 3 Spider-Men because all of the, it's about the multiverse and all of that sort of thing. And all 3 worlds combined. That means all the old enemies come back and all of that sort of thing. It's not too much. It just ended up being like a film that was just. What's the word? They didn't seem to fit into the plot, really.
A bit of a mishmash.
Yeah, it was a bit of a. They didn't seem to fit into a plot. It was just like, oh, they're here. Let's have them here, and let's have them talking. And let's let's appease a few fans things and bit of nostalgia, bit of this, bit of that, and all of that sort of thing. And I thought, like, they just didn't really fit. It didn't really fit. They didn't. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
It was weak. Yeah, Richard said weak. Right, it was weak. It was all just based around people's nostalgia. What would they want these people to say?
I'll definitely want to go and see that because Tobey Maguire come back and he's the original Spider-Man for me. But there's only one other Marvel film I've actually seen that's not Spider-Man, and it was Iron Man. And that was one of the worst things I've ever watched.
Well, Iron Man?
Yeah, shit.
No, Iron Man's all right, man.
Horrendous. I was bored out of my mind. I was like, when you go to the cinema as a kid, always want to go and see a good film. When you go in there and the film's shit, you don't know what to do. It's just like, oh my God, this is fucking terrible.
Oh, do you know what? There is one thing I want to say before we go as well. Obviously, Merry Christmas to everyone. But have you seen that after all that's going on at the minute, they've put the Manchester United tickets on sale. You see that?
Yeah, I've got mine today.
43 points.
Mike, stop eating. You're rustling and it's fucking going into the microphone. Just stop eating for a second. Just for a second.
No worries.
Yeah, they put them on sale. Do you think they should have put them on sale right now?
Because as it stands, the game's going ahead. As it stands, until anything different happens. So what else do they do?
Well, wait.
Well, how long?
Until after Christmas, Tom. Well, what I'm saying is we've had to buy a lot of tickets this month. A lot.
Yeah, look, I've just got some here actually. I don't even know what one it is. I'm going to open it and surprise myself.
Yeah, they've bought that much. There's been that many tickets to buy. It's loads, but it's over a month till that game. There's no need at the minute.
Here we go. You know what? I've got a Palace ticket here. No, Mike, it's not for you. I've got a Palace ticket here. I ordered 3 separate, and I got this one because it had low points. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one's come first, and the other 3 are nowhere to be seen unless I've not looked properly. That means they're fucking lost in the post, probably. This happened when I went to Southampton a few years ago. The individual ticket come first, and the other 3 didn't. The other ones I got. So, oh, God's sake.
Right, and just quickly, thank you so much, boys, for joining me tonight, and thank you so much to everyone in the chat. I know I'm gonna. We normally go on for a bit longer, but honestly,
we're just not good enough, Mike.
No, it's just that there's not a lot to talk about mate, with the football off. But yeah, it's.
Well, I wanted to. Can I make a point, please?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think an interesting topic for conversation would be do people think that what has sort of happened in the league for us over the last few games is just a blip, or is it was, you know, it was expected because of the level of, or sorry, lack of squad depth that we've got?
It's what Ryan said. We lost our spark, but we'll get it back.
It's a bit. If you want to ask me, just a quick answer. It's a bit of both. Bit of both. We haven't got the squad. We've lost our spark. We've lost our form. We haven't got the squad to change it. That's where the big teams, you know, they do well. They rotate people because and there's never a loss of form because they just keep on rotating them.
And Antonio is quite integral to how we play as well. So if he's not on it, then it's sort of like the rest of the team are not on it. Would you agree with that?
No, I agree.
No?
Yeah, I agree.
You would?
No,
you would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. But listen, we're gonna wrap it up right now. To everybody, have yourself a merry little Christmas. As the song goes, Merry Christmas to you all. We will see you before next week, I'm pretty sure. But just in case the worst happens and we don't, then please have a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. As we get towards the end of the year, thank you so much for everyone that's made this a wonderful year for West Ham Fan TV. Got us to 60,000 subscribers, getting there to 70, and I'm sure next year's the year we're going to hit 100. I'm pretty sure of it. But thank you so much for everyone that comes and joins us for these Friday Night Pints. As I said, have a Merry Christmas. And just quickly, while we've still got people watching, and everybody's seen and heard about the news about young Isla. If you've got, you know, a spare quid, a spare fiver, a spare tenner, a spare £100, go and give it to that little girl because she's, you know, she deserves to have the best at the moment. So, yeah, go and do that and give her, you know, many Merry Christmases. But we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. I'll put the link in the description down below. But yeah, if you've anything left to say, boys?
Wish all the best to Isla and her family. I mean, it's not a good situation for anyone right now, but, you know, wouldn't ever dream of going through what they are. So it puts things in perspective.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, I can't even start to imagine what Nicola's going through right now. To be honest, or you know, all her family must be pretty heartbreaking. To be honest, I mean, I nearly shed more than a tear when I saw it like break the news, and my heart just sank, really sank, and like I really feel for her, and you know, I hope that people, you know, I'm sure we'll look, you know, people will show the right side and pull through for her and pull through for, you know, for her family and for most importantly for Isla. But yeah, I mean, hopefully she can give Isla the best Christmas. I mean, look, I do believe, I know that obviously the news wasn't good, but I do believe in miracles, and you know, you never know what might happen. I mean, I really hope that she makes it. And obviously having lost a very, you know, close person to myself, obviously my dad in February, which most people know, it's tough, but obviously I can only start to imagine what Nicola and her family is going through at the moment, and obviously she needs to be there for Isla, so she's, you know, she'll be as good a mum as she can, which she's been all along. So
yeah, I echo that, mate. So if you've got a spare, but and I would like to say to someone that come up to us the other day, you know, give us an update on an old friend of the channel. Was one of our first videos. Chaz, who many would know if you go to away games as Romford. Big character, bigger, larger than life guy. That's been stable ever since I've been going away. He's been, you know, you always see him at games. He's a lovely guy. You know him, Dom, right?
Yeah. I've never met him, but I do know who he is. I've seen him about.
Yeah, he's not too well at the minute. So
Nicky, is that the guy that goes on the Hornchurch coaches?
Yes, mate, it is.
The big guy. Yeah.
Let's talk.
I know him. I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Romford, and you would know him if you're going to an away game. Larger than life character, you know, you can't miss him in a crowd. His voice and his laugh and his joy is infectious. And I know he watches this sort of stuff, although you know, I don't think he ever comments or anything like that. But I know he watches this sort of stuff, gets involved in the forums. And a friend of his said he's not feeling too well at the moment. So we wish you all the best, Chaz, and we're all thinking about you. Especially over Christmas, and hopefully we'll see you very soon. And that's it from us, guys. Thank you very much. If you're new around here, please subscribe, and you can check the link to our merch downstairs. You've got our Christmas jumpers. I think it's the last day to get them today to be guaranteed to be.
I'm still waiting for mine.
You ain't ordered one.
No, I have.
All right, well, if you've ordered one, then you get it.
The worst West Ham ticket office, getting it lost in the post. Sorry.
So it's the last day to get your Christmas jumpers and stuff in time for Christmas. So please, if you can, go and get one of them. We've got a Patreon link in the description. It's down below if you want to support us on there. Yeah, that's it. Subscribe if you're new. One thing left to say: come on, you irons.
Come on, you.
Come on, you irons.